Hey everybody in the BC, this is Ron. I'm back with another video. It's a nice Saturday afternoon. I thought I would do my weekly video today. Got some pretty cool things lined up. I got little bit of early garage. I've got some Canadian 60s pressings. I've got some Psych. Got a couple of 45s to show. And so if you got some time, kick back and enjoy the ride. So let's get started. The first thing I want to start off with this DVD is Love Forever Changes, and many of you may have this, and it came out in '03. It's a '03 concert, and actually this concert was recorded a day before my birthday, so that's pretty cool. And I bought it when it first came out, and I had it for a while. I would say probably within the first year that I had it. I was just messing around on the chapter searches, and I actually discovered a hidden Easter egg. And an Easter egg is a hidden track or information that's encrypted in a DVD. So I've already told Zeke the Geek and Earhead 6 about this, so I thought I'd pass it along to the rest of you guys. Basically what you need to do is you need to advance the chapter search so far that it will not progress any further. You could probably make some shortcuts in the menu to get to where you want to go, but I think the idea of what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to at least go through all the chapters completely twice. And I think once you get through them twice and get to the very end, you'll find the hidden Easter egg, and it's a live song, and I won't say what that is because I want it to be a surprise. So if you got the DVD, you know there's a hidden Easter egg in this, so search it out. The first album I want to show is by the Starfires, and it's Teen Beat A Go-Go, recorded live at the Teen Beat Club in Las Vegas. And I believe it is a true in-concert recording, 1965. And it's your typical early teen beat garage thing, you know. It's got a lot, it's all covers. It's got, you know, a lot of the garage standards for the time, you know, like Walking the Dog, Farmer John, Money, Great Balls of Fire. They do No Reply by the Beatles, Round and Round by Chuck Berry. It's a good record, you know. It doesn't have that real heavy punky sound that would seep into garage later, but it's not a bad record. And it's on an obscure label. It's on the Labrie label, and you can pick these up in near mint condition. Probably the $40 to $60 range, I think they go for. And what makes that album really cool to have is they really, after that, in 1966, they released this really killer garage 45. And this is an exact reproduction of it, and it's I Never Loved Her. It's on the GI label, which is a California label. And the flip side is Linda. And this is a heavy duty 45 here. Near mint copies, $2,000. VG Plus, grand easy. And it's not like it's a wild fuzz screamer pounder or anything like that, but it's got those real snarly vocals, and it's almost as if he's almost talking. And it's got just a real downbeat rhythm. Just a really cool song. And the other side's a little more of a rocker, and kind of you can hear a little bit of sonic style in it. And yeah, I think they were trying to basically create a 45 that maybe looked like a promo copy, so it's got the white label. Actually, the original 45s of this were on a gold label, and I think it was gold with the red print. And this is the Fabulous Beats Go Country Style. This is just a real cheesy album that I picked up in a thrift store, and I was really expecting the worst. But you know what? It's a pretty damn good record. I was really surprised. And what it is, it's country and western songs from the 50s and early 60s that were like top 40 hits. And this band took them and they turned them into this sort of Beatle-y, Mersey beat garage versions. And it's actually quite cool. It's got Walking After Midnight that Patsy Cline did, and that's almost kind of like you can hear some Buddy Holly and the Crickets influence on that. And there were a couple of them were wearing these really lame Beatle wigs, you know. It's on it says the Stereo Spectrum Records on the label, but it's actually Design, which was a Pickwick subsidiary. So yeah, it's really not as bad as you would think. So if you spot it and it's cheap enough, grab it. Pretty cool album. Okay, I'm gonna get into some Canadian original 60s pressings. And the first one that I have is the Standell's Dirty Water. And this is a mono copy. And it's basically the same artwork as the US counterparts. But the unusual thing is it's on a Spartan label, which they were a pretty big record company in Canada. So that's pretty unusual. And I really like the Standells a lot. They weren't as wild as, say, Chocolate Watchband, but I think they were more creative and more original and maybe more talented. Just a great band. And if you look at their eyes on the cover, man, they're all like Chinese-eyed, and I think they probably just burned one because they definitely look stoned. This is the Kinks, and this is on Pi. And that's sort of like a reproduction of a UK label, I believe, and it's red. And I think the stereos would have been blue. And the cool thing about this is on the front, it's a reproduction of the UK cover. So it says the Kinks Kingdom. Well, the back is a reproduction of the US cover, so it was the Kinks Kingdom. So you got two different titles on the same album cover. But I love that front album cover. It's pretty cool. And then I got a few Canadian Animals. This is the Best of the Animals. Came out in '66. And this is on Quality label, which is a big label in Canada. And the back's a little different. In the US we had a gatefold. This is just a single piece jacket. And what they did was they took the photo from this side of the gatefold and they placed it here. On the US copies it originally would have been text right here. And it has the first appearance of the full-length House of the Rising Sun, but unfortunately this is fake stereo. I would have preferred mono, but it's pretty cool anyway. And these three Animals albums that I got them all from the same dealer, and they're all in great condition. This is the Animals Animalism in true stereo. And this has a different cover. It has a picture of the animals at the zoo in front of a cage. And this is on the black MGM label. This is Every One of Us, Eric Burdon and the Animals. This is from their Psych era. And this is a real good album. And the funny thing is, it was never, I think originally it was only released in the US and in North America, Canada. I know it didn't originally get released in the UK. And some good tunes on here. You're the Guru, that rocks. little different cover. It's got like a banner up here describing mono can be played on stereo record. And it's got a banner down here. This is Bangor Flying Circus. This is Canadian pressing. And I believe this is from '70. And it's on Dunhill. And this is sort of heavy organ prog rock. Pretty good. It did knock my socks off, but it's their only album, and you know, if you don't have to pay too much for a copy, it's definitely worth checking out. Bangor Flying Circus. This is The First People, 1968 on Capitol, and this is a real cool album. It's on the Black Rainbow label. They had 2 albums. I'm not familiar with the second one. And every track on this is good. I mean, there's only like one short little number at the end of side 1. It's only like a minute long or something like that. It's kind of like a little good time gospel song, you know, a little sing-along type thing. But other than that, every track's a winner. Side 2 is called The Epic. It's all one whole song, different pieces, like kind of like a rock opera thing. And Larry Norman was in this band, and he went on doing some Christian pop rock albums. Going to get people. This is the group Image. It's on the Community label. These guys were out of New York. This is 1968. It's on a very small label, Community. In fact, I don't know of any other bands that came out on that label. And you know, this is just an excellent album. It's not all that hard to find. You can pick up near mint copies for like 30 bucks. And the price does not reflect the quality of the music. The album's out, you know, really excellent. But it's just they made a boatload of them, so that it's not very rare. And you know, just real short, sort of concise songs. These guys could play. Really good, tight band. Good psychedelic guitar work. Just really cool. Male-female vocals. So if you're any kind of a psych head, this is an essential album you need to get. This is a recent pickup that I got, and it's Jeff Mon Reality. It's on the Vanguard label, 1968. And I saw this in the record store and I was unfamiliar with it, so I went home and I did some research. And I discovered, you know, I listened to a little bit of it on YouTube and I did some reading. And I discovered that this guy was the lead singer for the Third Bardo. And I talked about them in an earlier video. They were just excellent punkadelic, electric prune style garage band. And it's definitely not garage punk like the Third Bardo. It's more like folk rock with orchestration. But he's still got that little bit of that punky bite in his vocals. Good album, I like it. You know, the orchestration and the horn work kind of, you know, affects it a little bit, but still good. I like all side 1. Side 2 is marred by a few cover versions, but all the original stuff that he wrote is real cool. In fact, he does do one Third Bardo song, I Could Understand Your Problem, and it's a little more folk garage psych, but it's still real cool. It doesn't have a lot of the orchestration, you know, affecting it, so it's cool. And yeah, he might not have known they were going to do the orchestration part of it. You know, sometimes the producers and engineers, they would do things behind people's backs without their knowledge. I think actually organ would have been better, but you you know, it is what it is. It's still pretty cool. And this is the second Sagittarius. And the first one was on Columbia, and this one's on Together. Kurt Bocher, Gary Usher involvement. And pretty good album, you know, for that lightweight, wimpy pop Psych stuff. Bocher, excellent producer. I mean, what he did it good. Definitely not as good as Millennium, but it's probably, you know, decent album, but not as good as the first Sagittarius. So, oh, it's got, it came with 3 lunar photos that I will show. They're pretty cool, full color, 8x10s. You know, this album came out in '69 during the Apollo space program, so this was a reflection of that. It's a nice shot of the big blue marble. Okay, Bo, get your drool bucket, get your vinyl community drool bucket, and I'll wait. I'm not going to wait that long. Time's up. 1 chocolate Watchband. 2 chocolate Watchbands. Okay, what I got here, I wish I had a mono and a stereo, but what I have here is 2 stereo copies, but one's an East Coast pressing and one's a West Coast pressing. This is the first copy that I got, and the cover is mint minus. It is just beautiful, and the white is white. There's no yellowing going on here. Just great condition. And this came with my my East Coast pressing, which is this. And what I do is I keep for some of my albums, my nicer ones, I put them in these generic cardboard covers like this, and then I keep the cover in an acid-free sleeve, and then I just slide it in like that and keep them that way. So I'll pull this out so you can get a good look at the label, because it does have there is some label variation going on here. Okay, the title is more centered than on the West Coast version. The No Way Out above the chocolate Watchband is more centered. The text isn't as bold, and all the song titles are down below the spindle hole. And it has this is a pressing ring right here, and it's only about that wide. Whereas on the West Coast pressing, it's a lot wider. It's way out here. And how I could tell that this was a East Coast pressing, it was pressed in Scranton, Philadelphia, is I looked in the trail off of the vinyl, and there's matrix information. And there's a symbol, it's like a triangle, and it says I-A-M inside the triangle. And that denotes that it's a Scranton pressing. And then the other one I have, this is a Hollywood pressing. And this cover is excellent condition. It's got a little bit of yellowing going on, but it's not too bad. And I got a real nice, excellent Hollywood pressing to go with that. My East Coast pressing is in VG condition with a near mint cover, and this is an excellent cover with an excellent record. The text is bolder, and the titles are Above and Below the Spindle Hole. And the No Way Out up above the chocolate watchband is not completely centered. It's a little bit off to the right. But and this has like a in the trail off, it has a factory code symbol. It's kind of like a little star, and that denotes Hollywood pressing. Yeah, these are great albums. Even though the guys in the Watchband were manipulated by the people around them, the record label, the producer, the engineer, they all had their hand in everything. And all this, you can, I don't want to go into details over it, but you can go on the internet and read the whole story. I mean, sessions players. The thing that really blows my mind is they used a sessions singer on several of the tracks that are on this album, Don Bennett. And Don Bennett was actually black. So he gave the Watchband this sort of soulful garage sound, kind of like Love, And it's just really strange to me, but for what he did a pretty good job. It's still a great album, even though it doesn't really represent the Watchband in the true sense of the word. And this next album I have, it's a best of the Chocolate Watchband. It's called 44. And I bought this when it first came out. I've had this album 30 years. And it came out in 84. It's a UK import. And the cool thing about this is it's got the whole Chocolate Watchband story. And it says that this album was the first official Chocolate Watchband release in the UK. And every track on here is the true Watchband. There's no sessions players involved here at all. It's got the Hogs 45, which was the Chocolate Watchband in disguise. And I'll get a close-up of the titles so you can see those. So it's pretty cool. You could put this album on and you're going to get the real deal, So it makes for great listening. And that's on the Big Beat label. This next album I have is SRC. And they were a Detroit prog psych band. Heavy organ, real moody. Great psych. This is just an underground classic to me. And they are also known as Scott Richardson Case. It's on the Rainbow Capital label. And this is an East Coast pressing, which doesn't really surprise me because the guy that I bought this from lived on the East Coast. It has a promo stamp at the top, which is, you can see it better here, it's kind of like, it says free. And it's like little pinholes that spell free. And later on Capital will go just do a large hole right there, like a bullet hole. So that signifies a promo copy. And that thing's in great condition. I bought it years ago. I paid quite a bit for it, but I'm set for life on that. I never have to upgrade. And this is the second album, Milestones. And this one's not as great as that first album, but it's still pretty solid, cool album. And yeah, it's on the Black Rainbow label. Real cool one to pick up. Yeah, look at this. I found the original receipt. I didn't know that I had that. I found the original seat. I bought that first SRC in March of 2000, and I paid $125 for it. So that's pretty high for that, I think. But it's was 15 years ago, pre-internet, you know. I wanted a really nice copy, and I paid a lot for it, but like I say, I'm set for life. And incidentally, I have a promo 45. One of the songs on that first album was a single. It's called Black Sheep. And I have a promo 45 of that. And it's an alternate version of Black Sheep. It's not that it's just edited or anything like that. It's a shorter version, but the tempo is faster. And you can definitely tell it's a different take. And the B-side is Morning Mood, which is just kind of a lightweight organ instrumental, real whimsical sounding. And that wasn't on the album, you know. So it's nothing special, but it's non-album, B-side of a 45. This is really rare in stock. I was actually pretty lucky even to get a promo copy of it, but it's even more rare in stock copy. So yeah, this is definitely something to search out. And this is actually a kind of a photo sleeve type. It's not really a sleeve, but it's a photo of the band that I made. And I just kind of keep that in with the record. You know, it's kind of a phony picture sleeve type of thing. This is the first Fraternity of Man, and they had the big hit Don't Bogart Me, which is in the Easy Rider movie. You know, don't bogart that joint, my friend. And the leader was Elliot Ingber, and he was in the Mothers of Invention. He was on their first album, Freak Out. And he left the band. He created the Fraternity of Man, and they were a good band. This is cool Psych rock album, 68. In fact, they even do a Mother's cover version on here. Oh No, I Don't Believe It. And this is on the ABC label. And I got it in the original shrink, and it's got naked ladies here on top of the rocks. And there's a picture right here. And that to me looks like a hairy beaver, and I'm not talking about the animal either, so yeah, that's pretty weird. This is their second album, it's Get It On, and this is on the Dot label. And this album pretty much got the band in some hot water, and subsequently they didn't do any more albums after this one. They probably got ran out of town. But a lot of the songs on here are about drugs, you know, mainly marijuana. Boo Man, which is about a drug dealer. Too High to Eat. Trick Bag, and Mellow Token. That's all about the herb. And there's also a couple of songs on here that are sex. So it's basically sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And a couple of songs on here. One of them is The Throbber, and the other one is Cocoa Lollipop, and those are borderline child porn. I don't want to go into the lyrics, but they are fairly explicit in a light-hearted, comical way. The album did come out in '69, and I'm sure that it probably led to the band getting dropped from Dot. And if you look at the cover, I mean, it's got sexual graphics on the cover even. Even the title, Get It On. But it's a real earthy album, kind of in the Can Heat mode. It's got a little bit of heavy fuzz rock on it, and just an excellent album all the way through. They do Calf Squirrel that Cream did on their first album, but when they do it with vocals, and Cream's version's strictly instrumental. And this last album that I want to show is Touch. And they were a Northwest band. This came out in 1968. So it's early prog psych. And they were definitely one of the first US prog bands. And this is just an excellent album. It's on a London label subsidiary. It's a top loader. And London label subsidiary Coliseum, which is pretty unusual label. And these guys had a member or two from Dawn in the Good Times, which was a Northwest garage band in the mid-60s. Just an excellent album. Definitely recommend getting this. It did come with a real cool psychedelic poster, and unfortunately I don't have one of those. But I'll get one eventually, probably one day. Even if I have to upgrade my copy, you know, to get the poster, I'll get one. Because it's a really cool poster. Okay, I think I'm about finished with this one. Hope you enjoyed all that. Yeah, it's just pretty fun doing these videos. I enjoy it, man. I've met a lot of great people in the VC, and a lot of I made some cool acquaintances, and you know, I learn about records, and I get to share my knowledge with you guys too. So it's really great. So until next time, guys, take care, and I'll see you.